right, so we're going to be doing first a unilateral external fixator for a tibia shaft fracture. Say it's an open fracture. So we obviously have a fracture site here. Safe zone for the tibia, generally speaking, is along the anterior medial aspect. So that's usually a safe zone away from tendons, nerves, blood vessels, that sort of thing. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to take our drill bit and our drill sleeve, and we're going to place a single pin in each major fracture fragment. So I'll start with this side. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of the larger pins here. You can put this in on hand with the T-handle, or go slowly with this guy. The idea of pre-drilling it is to prevent bone necrosis, heat necrosis from the speed of the drill. So that's one pin in there. The nice thing about using the T-handle is that you can usually have more control in terms of how deep you're going to put them. So I'll just put this in a little bit deeper. Good bicortical purchase on that guy. And we do the same thing with the drill bit and the drill sleeve for the distal fracture fragment. And again, it's along the anterior medial aspect. So we'll put it right here. This one I'll put it on hand. It's very challenging one-handed. And you should be able to feel when it gives the first vortex, and then you start feeling it get tight, that's when it's catching the second cortex. So this should all be, fine just by hand feel. You should be able to feel that. Let's see. Yeah, that's catching the second cortex there. Okay. So then the next step is we'll take one of our rods that should be long enough to cross the fracture site, and we'll do our provisional reduction and fixation. Just with a single rod, single pin on each fracture fragment. wrench to tighten this down. Actually, this is very far off the skin, so just to improve the stability of the fracture, I'm going to move this whole thing down a little bit closer to the body. But keep in mind there would be soft tissues here, so you don't want it too close to the bone. Just improve the reduction slightly. Tighten this down. Not the best provisional reduction, but that'll do. Maybe it would be better if we had another set of hands. But you want to come in and help me?
Yes.
So where it's useful to have an assistant. So come on in on this side.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. So you can hold the reduction. Yeah, I think so. Now you should be able to freely move it until you get the perfect reduction. And then the other person will just be in control of these. Perfect. So you hold the provisional reduction, and then I'll tighten these down. Great. Let's take a look at your reduction. Very nice, much better than mine. Okay, so now the next step is we use these second clamps to add an additional pin on each side. One pin is not enough, all right? So what we'll do is we'll use the pinhole for one of the clamps as our drill guide. So I'll open up this clamp, put it provisionally. Oh, let me get this thing. Ready to go? Yep, that's ready. So we'll put this guy on here. And then what I do is I just hold it in place with the thing loose. And then we can make sure that through here, we're going to put this through here is like a drill guide. Nice and open, and then through that drill hole that we just placed, this pin comes through here. And again, I can feel when it's through the first vortex, so I'll feel a bit of a give, and as it starts to purchase the second vortex, let's get there. This now can be tightened. Lost our reduction slightly there, but that's just because we can't rely on a single pin. And now I'll take my second clamp, and Ali can step in for me and just make sure that we maintain the reduction. You know, provisional reduction is fine. That's great. Thank you very much. And we'll do the same thing here again. Using this clamp, using this as sort of our drill guide. sometimes you'll need to use 2 of these clamps just to make sure that everything's fully tight. And that's what we'll do now. This will be our final tighten of all of our clamps. So tighten this guy too. It's nice and tight. This guy. Good. So in a tibia, that should be plenty. That's really quite stable for a tibia. But in a femur, I would recommend that you add an additional rod. So either one of these guys or one of the very long guys to add an additional neutralization rod. There's plenty of room on here to do that. So I'll go ahead and do that just to show you what the final construct will look like. Do you mind holding it up for me? I'm going to hold it from the foot, maybe from the top of the tibia there, just so that they can see. Thank you very much. All right, there we go. That's our final construct. Unilateral external fixation of the tibia.